The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of bad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast coming to you Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Look who's back on the podcast after what, over a year? Ducking me, always ducking me. The man, the host of the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, my unofficial cousin. We got Duke Bennett here on the show. Duke, I finally got you. What's up, brother?
Let me tell you something. You must be a glutton for punishment because you know that I'm the third rail when it comes to this whole pro wrestling content creator space. So you're in big trouble. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Calm down, bro. All right, calm down. Bro, this is take two. We started recording this podcast actually about 20 minutes ago, and let me tell you, it was the grizzly and shits because we had some Wi-Fi issues on not just on my side, but apparently on his side too. He had to go to a cell phone now to do this now. So we got to get this in, man. We got a lot to talk about in the wrestling world and other things of that nature. So first off, Duke, how the hell you been? Number one, I haven't. Like I said, we talk off air a lot, but how you for the listeners? How you been?
Man, I'll tell you, I've been blessed, although completely exhausted. Crazy schedule. You know, Duke Loves Wrestling podcast is now in the top 5% of all listened to podcasts in the world.
My man.
So that's the main show. That's D-Bon and the Duke. The show that I did with Big Vito LaGrasso, the friend of ours podcast, that contributed to that as well. So
yeah, why'd you end that one actually?
Dude, Vito got a new job and his hours are all over the place. So we decided just, put it on the shelf for now, but that can always be restarted because we had some good stuff. And we actually, I'll tell you a crazy thing.
Go ahead.
We were in the top 3 of all podcasts talking about the Sopranos.
I remember that.
Which is crazy.
Which is funny because I actually, I don't know if you listen to my show, but I just finished the show actually last year. And I talked a lot about it I talked a lot about the Sopranos on the show last year. I even did like a 25-year anniversary special where we did a draft, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, to me, I was like, it took me so fucking long to watch that show, man, but finally got it in, man.
Wait, you hadn't watched it before?
So here's the story. So my wife and I, we had started the show probably in 2009, and we got to season 3, and then we stopped because I got distracted.
Wow.
I'm ADHD, brother. All right, and look, we like the show, we just got distracted. All right, and then my this is my rule of thumb in my household, and she agrees with me too. Also, if there's a show we started that we don't get back to after a year or two, no matter how far we got in the show, if we don't remember what happened, we got to start over because it makes no sense to start a show you don't remember what happened to the plots beforehand. Okay, we went back in 2012 to watch it again. We started over. Okay, and once again we got to season 3. Okay, but once again something happened. I don't know if the NBA playoffs were on the time or something, but I got distracted. I got busy, and we just never got back to the show again until last year. And I told her, listen, honey, the anniversary's coming. I want to do the show so I can use it for content on the podcast sometime this summer. So her and I locked down last spring and we watched all the episodes and we never stopped. Thank God.
Thank God.
She liked the show, but she said she'll never watch it again. Me, I would never go back and watch it again. If you follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of like Sopranos content on there too, also because it's funny as hell. The no context Sopranos stuff is great. But yeah, I'm kicking myself thinking, why the fuck did I wait this long to watch this show, bro? Like, why?
Well, I'm surprised that she doesn't want to watch it again. It makes me wonder what if she's watching anything that really grabs her attention. What is it?
Oh
You
no,
know?
no. My wife is a binger. She's very critical. Like, if she were to get into the podcasting game, she honestly will be reviewing TV shows because she's really into TV.
Oh.
So she's a hard critic. She's a tough critic. So
All right. So,
she likes.
let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Love Island. Have you both been on the Love Island train yet?
Okay, so I'm glad he went this route, bro. So no, first off, that shit is fucking brain rot. Okay, that show is brain rot, dog. All right, number one. However, she watched one season or two seasons because her girlfriends were watching it. They had a girls' night and they had it on in the background, so she kind of got into it. She acknowledges that it's brain rot. But about a month ago, she was going through like a couple seasons of the show. So she did watch it. And so then I watched it with her, not intensely, but it was background noise. Like, I'll be on my phone, whatever, or, putting together content. She had the show on TV. But I'll watch the show here and there to see what's going on. Not intently, but enough to know what's going on. But I'll tell her, hey, babe, this show is brain rot, bro. Like this show is this absolute brain rot. What are we doing here right now? I feel dumber today than I was yesterday. But yeah,
you have a wrestling fan telling somebody that programming they're watching is brain rot. This is ridiculous.
Well, that's the trick. Because I told her, guess what, babe? I can't. I told her that. I also caveated saying, babe, you know what? I can't talk shit because I watched pro wrestling for 40 years.
Yeah, come on.
So, I guess I'm just as bad too, also, right? So
just as bad. Well, for the record, I'm a reality TV guy. I go all the way back to the original Real World.
Okay, bro. Okay, I'm so glad you said that. So, I'm a hardcore Real World guy.
Yes,
but I have an era and a cutoff point. I am hardcore from San Francisco to Vegas. Hardcore.
Okay.
So
you stopped at Vegas. So much happened after Vegas.
Well,
you stopped at Vegas.
No, I got into a band. I started doing music, so I stopped watching TV in general. I was never home. I was in a studio or that kind of thing. So I'm a musician. Well, was in my heyday. So I had life happened. But I've been re-binging some of the old Real World episodes on where if I can find them on YouTube, because so apparently Paramount is very selective about what they want to put on their platform. So you can find the first three seasons of like London, New York, San Francisco. And then it skips all the way up to like I think New Orleans, the first New Orleans, and then skips one more season. Then it goes to Vegas, and then it has all the recent stuff. I don't know why you can't find the Miami one, the Hawaii one, the Boston. By the way, those seasons are great. Boston, Miami,
great season. Yeah,
great seasons. I don't know why. I actually even follow some of the old cast members on social media. Did I tell you Amaya from Hawaii blocked me like 10 years ago?
Why?
I don't know why. But she saw.
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
Wow.
I never insulted her, for the record. Wow. She just blocked me. I don't get that. But the reason I'm saying this is because I've been trying to find people who I can talk about this stuff with on the show, that actually are familiar with those seasons, and no one I know is familiar with all the seasons that I'm into.
I've seen them all.
So I need to. So now that I know you do it, maybe I have to do a deep dive on some of these old seasons here, because
I'll take it a step further. I was so I'm breaking the sixth wall here, not the fifth wall like Tony Khan.
Bro, how many walls you got, bro?
I got too many
walls you got, bro?
I got too many walls. So this is kind of a long one here, but Wild Superheroes, Wild Women of Wrestling.
Yeah,
they are the all-female wrestling promotion.
Correct.
That is owned by Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers. I have a very great relationship in covering them since 2016, yada, yada. They have a deal with Paramount. So they air on all of the Paramount networks like CBS, CW. They're on Paramount Plus, all that good stuff there. So I did an interview recently with Sylvia Sanchez, who I've been covering her career since the beginning. Micah Madrid is her real name. She's out of Texas. And actually, she got the Wild deal because of a booking that I helped her get. So it's kind of an interesting deal there. And she's been with the company for about 3 years now. She's killing it. She's one of their top stars. They loved the interview so much that one of their PR people reached out to me and asked me if I would interview somebody who's going to be on the upcoming season of The Challenge, which is their biggest property now. So The Challenge used to be called Real World Road Rules Challenge.
Right? Remember that?
Right. So now it's just called The Challenge. It's a massive like if you saw it today, you'd be shocked. It's American Ninja Warrior, American Gladiators, all that on steroids. And they asked me to interview somebody on there. So I had a conversation with them. And I said, listen, I'll interview that person, but I want to interview everybody. Give me the entire cast that are going to be on it this season. And, let's figure it out. Do I do a challenge show, or do they just come on and Duke Loves Wrestling? So literally, we're actively in the process of negotiating and figuring that out. But there's a very good possibility that I'll be collaborating with Paramount.
On the Duke show, right?
Well, right. Or do a new property. Why can't I do a new property and make some money off of that? What do you mean?
Well, here's a sell here. Well, wait, hold on, Duke. What is the tagline of Duke Loves Wrestling? It's the show about wrestling, everything else.
That's true. That's
everything
very
else,
true.
Everything else can be wonderful. And bro, I've gone through your catalog, bro. You have things in there that, yes, it is a wrestling podcast. Yes, you interview indie wrestlers. You talk about the current product. You talk about whatever. But you will throw in an NBA thing here. You will throw in an MMA thing here. So the everything else. Now, here's the thing: if you're doing something that's going to take up a lot of bandwidth, then maybe yes, do a whole new feed. But otherwise, I would not. If it's like a one weekly thing or like bi-weekly thing, yeah, throw on the Duke Loves Wrestling feed.
Brother, if they're going to pay me to do an exclusive show for the season and possibly do it going forward, that opens up a possibility for me to have somebody like you on, break you off something too, since you have that historical knowledge of real world.
Yeah.
You see what I'm like, bro, this is a whole new property we're talking about.
True. I mean, and again, this is, my knowledge is between 94 and 2002, but to me, I feel like that those years were the peak years of that show.
Absolutely. 100%. And in fact, it's funny, you brought up New Orleans. Ashley, who is on Real World New Orleans.
The second New Orleans, though, not the first one.
Okay,
right?
Got you. Yes, the second one. The second one. You're right.
Because the whole remember they did also return to New Orleans. I don't know if you saw it recently a couple years ago. The New Orleans cast with Melissa and David and Matt and
yes,
and
this is the second New Orleans. You're right. She was on the second New Orleans. Yeah.
Right. So that first cast in New Orleans that in 2000 did another show on Paramount 2-3 years ago. I don't know if you watched it.
I did.
What'd you think of that?
Different. You know what I mean? It's hard, man. When you see them when they're young and impressionable and reckless,
yeah,
it's kind of different to be an adult in that space. What was crazy about that I guess you can call it a reunion season.
It was
that they really didn't get along that well.
Really, it was Julie who didn't get anybody on there.
Yeah,
Julie didn't get anybody on that show whatsoever. David, who didn't get along with anybody else on the first season, the first time they met, he got along well. He patched things out with Melissa. He patched things out with Kelly, and
he doesn't even does he call himself David anymore? Doesn't he call himself
Tokyo Parker? and by the way, I follow him. I follow him on Instagram.
Come on, be my baby tonight. All right.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's an interesting cat, brother. He's an interesting cat. But yeah, the Real World from 94 to me, honestly, my favorite, the season that got me into that show was Hawaii. Hawaii was so good.
Hawaii was crazy because they had that little chick who's always getting, was it Ruthie? She was always getting wasted.
Oh my God, yeah.
Jesus Christ, how could she drink that much? My God.
She was insane. And she was small too.
Yeah, she was a small girl, but she could pack it in. She was a lesbian, right?
Yeah, she was a lesbian. Yeah, I was actually a fan of Kaya. Try to find her on in social media. She's hard to find. But Maya, I found Maya. Maya blocked me on social media, and the rest is history. So,
bro, what did you do to have that girl block you?
What did I do? I didn't do shit. I didn't do nothing, bro. By the way, you like my slick shirt?
I was looking at that. I said, "Where the hell did you find that?"
Yeah, I found on T Public, man.
That's sharp.
The not the greatest manager in the world, but my favorite manager of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I told you,
Jibe Soul Bro.
Bro. Yep.
Yep.
Before we get to some of these topics, how's mom doing?
Mom is great, man. She she had ankle surgery a couple years ago.
Really?
Where they had to put screws in there. Yeah, man. She, foolishly,
That
she went
hurts,
outside on a misty night. It was like, 7 p.m. and it was in the wintertime. The stairs were slippery, back stairs. She's on the phone taking out the trash, and she missed a stair. And somehow, some way, she ended up breaking her ankle enough where she had to get 6 screws in a plate.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Ah, that hurts, man.
Yeah,
Just hearing about it.
Yeah, that was a rough. I got that call, and I was like, "What?" It was crazy, man. Rushed to the emergency room, all that good stuff. But she's doing good, man. She's doing really, really good.
That's good. Is she figured out now that the logo for my show is me, not you?
I don't know if she's figured it out because every time you and I collaborate, she starts listening, and she legitimately thinks she's listening to one of my shows. I got a problem with that.
You got a problem with a lot of things, though. I mean, look, here's the deal, Duke. I mean, I get it. We're both handsome. I get it.
Well, is that what it is?
It's part of it, I'm sure. I mean, look, I get it. We're both brown men. We're both Caribbean backgrounds, all that. You Jamaica, me Trinidad. So I get it. We both love wrestling. I get it. It's easy to get mixed up. Now,
if my own mother doesn't know me, that's a problem.
Well, the thing is, you're way better spoken than I am. I talk way too fucking fast. You are very presidential and buttoned up, and all this stuff. I mean, you do trash talk though. A lot of trash talking though.
I trash talk way more than you ever could. All right, I am.
Without question. Right? Without question. Without question. Jellyfish. What words you use? Jellyfish.
Jellyback humanoid bastards. Well, this is the best part about this stuff, right? And it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I don't swear. Like, I'll swear.
That's the thing. You don't swear. That is true. Yeah. You don't curse. You don't curse.
I don't curse, especially on the air. I don't curse. It's very rare when I do it.
Is that by design?
It's by design, but it goes way back. I realized at a young age that everybody else would curse so much. And I mean, both my parents were cops. All they do is curse. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. But I realized that by cursing a lot less than everybody else, you actually end up standing out more because you're the person that doesn't do that. You don't communicate that way. So it clicked at a very young age, and I just kind of held on to it. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I swear, there's no question about that. But it's at a very low clip compared to the average person. And
yeah.
Right, because that even when you and I are communicating, it's when you see me swear, it stands out. It's like, oh wow, he just said that word.
It's shocking, yeah.
But here's the funny part. Because of that, when I'm saying things or responding to somebody who's throwing fire at me or what have you, and I'll say you're a humanoid, pull up your skinny jeans, stuff like that, they act like it's the worst thing they ever heard in their lives. If somebody says to me, I'm going to swear on your show right now, because this is a common thing. And I'll call out a lowlife, Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful. He's a lowlife.
Wait. Yeah, fuck that guy. Did I tell you a story about that one time?
Uh-oh, no.
He DM'd me one time out of nowhere because I criticized him on something that I said to him about 9 months ago.
I'm laughing.
I'm like, motherfucker, like, first off, no, by the way, I love cursing. I don't give a shit. I'm like, I'm a nobody. Why are you DMing me for?
You know why. He probably thought he was talking to me. You know why.
Probably. Again, we look alike, so it's very possible. It's very possible.
This is it. He thought he was talking to me.
That dude is softer than Charmin. Yeah, bro. I said, I know, and I'll clip this shit to him to hear this.
Absolutely. He listen, this guy is so crazy. He will write articles and say things negative about me just for the hell of it. Like, I have nothing to do with this. I found an article from last year where he was talking about the Hardy Boys going back to doing business with WWE.
Right.
And I had totally forgotten about the fact that Devon actually broke that story on our show last year.
I remember that show.
He's the one who mentioned that. And I don't think he was doing it on purpose. We were just talking. He was like, oh, yeah, the Hardy Boys, they're doing stuff with WWE. I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. So I guess this is like a couple of weeks later. Sapp writes an article acting as if he's breaking the story, but then he puts in there, and if anyone who wants to say anything about, Duke saying something about this, well, he only has 130 listens on YouTube, so what? So he's saying because people aren't listening to my audio show on YouTube, right? And because not a lot of people heard it, it's okay for him to act as if he's breaking the story. This is a lunatic. This is a complete lunatic. Now, if he saw my audio numbers, he wouldn't know what to do with himself, but that's a whole other story. But it's fascinating the way this guy carries on. So you say he was in your DMs. I got years of him being in mine, and his favorite things is say, Duke, you're no good, you're a piece of shit, and nobody knows you, nobody likes you.
But
you're
cursed.
And all that.
Cursed. Look at that.
He just there it is. See, there's my one for the year. So I'll say something
it takes
like,
Sean Rassaf to fucking get it out of you.
Exactly. So I'll say, well, you're whatever, bro. Just stay off drugs, get your life together. You're not a good person because you tell people they're humanoids. And I'm like, bro, you just called me a piece of shit. Humanoid is worse than that? Are you kidding me? So, I drive people crazy because I don't swear at them. So whatever I say matters more because of that. If I say pull up your skinny jeans, they act like I just slapped their mama or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's completely
see
nuts.
the screen? I'm gonna show you the screen right now.
Yep, I can see the screen.
You see the screen? You see that? Hold on.
Well, no, I see you. What are you putting
I'm gonna
up?
pull up right now the no, I'm pulling up the there's right there. Okay, see right there? So there's right there. So there's right there. I basically what I said to him in real time was that what a POS is to do this. The sad part is people can legitimize him, hence why he has so much clout. He goes, This you? Let's be put, this you? Like, come on, bro. Like, you're supposed to be big time. Why are you fucking with me? Like, I'm a nobody, bro. Like, I got under 2,000 followers on X. Why are you messing with me?
No, you're a big deal.
I ain't important,
clearly.
bro. Unless you're messing with my kids and my wife, yeah, I ain't important. So, like, come on, bro. Like, seriously. Anyway, nice teaser wrestling because your boys at WWE doing a lot lately. Obviously, Netflix deals is ready in motion already. They made the moves. Also moving SmackDown to USA, NXT to CW, and then we got the word last week that the WWE is going to be putting, I believe, all their PLEs, if not at least the big 5 PLEs, on ESPN's new platform, which will be released next month. Your thoughts on that? A lot of fans have some kind of way about that. There's no particulars. Also, too, is it going to be the entire library? Is this the PLEs? I don't know. Your thoughts on all that? Is it too much? Because now, look, that ESPN platform is $30 now. So if you want to watch WrestleMania next year, you got to put up another $20 on top of the Peacock stuff. Your thoughts on all that? Is that too much?
Not enough.
Oh, don't start. Don't make me have to put money on wallet, bro.
Not enough. Listen, I'm somebody who grew up in the 80s where, we were one of the first families in the neighborhood to have cable vision, which was groundbreaking. So we could get all of the Mike Tyson fights and things like that. Everybody would come over. That was always a big deal. When the WWF pay-per-views were on, people could come over and watch and what have you. But the thing about early cable is that there wasn't a lot of programming available other than movies and random syndicated TV shows. So pro wrestling was everywhere. I mean, literally, I'm not even kidding you. There was a period of time, I'd say in like 85, 86, where I could watch pro wrestling every single day, at least 2 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And it would be different promotions. I could get it all. World class, NWA, WWF, and then you start getting into all these other little ICW in Boston and UWF and all kinds of other just things. They were everywhere. So when I look at the landscape today, and especially WWE in particular, I think it's fantastic that they continue to make themselves accessible on multiple networks and apps and things like that. So really, no matter what level you're at, no matter how much you can afford, everybody can watch WWE programming of some sort. I think that's fantastic. TKO buying the company for $9 billion, they got to get their money back. So from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense. And for all you humanoids out there that got a problem, oh, it's just a money grab. Oh, all they care about is making money. They're a business. They have a responsibility from a legal standpoint to do whatever it takes in order to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
So no one cares about what you think of 5-star matches or anything like that. No, I'm sorry, folks. It doesn't matter. They are here to make money.
And this is what I'm going to agree with you also too. Like, I may not like the deal. I'm not saying I don't do it. I'm not saying necessarily me. I'm just saying X individual may not like the deal, and I get all that. But this is why I love capitalism. You have a choice. You can stop watching. And believe me, if you stop watching, and if people stop watching, and the numbers fall apart down the road, then they'll have to adjust accordingly. But you guys keep feeding the beast. If you have a problem with it, stop watching the product. That's simple. Easy fix.
I don't even know what the complaint is. If the complaint is that they're on too many different networks, it's like, okay, so are you upset because you can't follow along?
No, the complaint is that now we got to pay more money to watch their product now.
Is that true?
That's the complaint, and I get that. Well,
is that true?
If you don't have give me an example. If you don't have ESPN, for example, right? Let's say you have cable, and you don't have ESPN, okay, and you have Peacock only, and you get all the PLEs now for $10 a month, okay, right now. But in my case, 13, because I pay upcharge for the no ads because I'm that cool. You're gonna have to pay $20 extra more a month just to get access to the or $30 more extra a month to get access to the PLEs.
How much do you pay for an AEW pay-per-view?
I don't pay for AEW pay-per-view though, so it depends.
But here's my point. At least $50.
Yeah,
per pay-per-view.
But that's every 4 months though.
Okay. What are you getting when you pay the $30 a month for the ESPN app?
We get more in wrestling. That's the thing. So if you're a sports fan, you're getting a whole complex of things. So I get that part. I'm just saying that wrestling fans are getting a little tired of paying more. WrestleMania tickets through the roof. My boy went to WrestleMania Night 2 this year in Vegas. He had seats on top of the stadium at Legion Stadium. $700 a seat.
Yeah.
But again, we don't have to like it. But if you don't like it, you can respond by just not feeding the beast anymore. That's why I love capitalism. I'm not even a Republican saying that. I'm just saying capitalism is why capitalism works, because they will respond according to the market. And the market says that wrestling is still a big deal.
The biggest deal.
The biggest deal. And that's why they make much fucking money hands over fist. And especially in the era of content. Like, I don't even look at WWE as a wrestling company anymore. I never really did it for years, but even more so now. They are now in the content creating business now. Wrestling happens to be the crux of it and the core of what they do, but what they're doing going forward is more so about content creation, creating stars to do many things, not just wrestling, not just promos, but TV shows and this and that and whatnot, commercials, you name it. They're creating brands here and miniature brands within the company, and that's what they're doing. And again, as the fan, you'll have to like it, but you can respond by just not watching. We'll see how things go in years to come. If the fans who sit there and bitch about, oh, there's too much money, we'll see how they respond. Because if you're a dumbass and still watching WrestleMania next year, that means you didn't preach what you were trying to say. When you were saying you were a hypocrite about it. You still did it. You still watched it. You still paid the money. They got your money, bro.
That's great perspective, and I'm glad that you've matured enough. So Rob hasn't rubbed off on you in a negative way, clearly, because I know he's a belly aching jellyback. So that's all he ever does. So and I know you're ducking me, Rob, because you know I'm always going to tell you the truth. I still have faith in you, Rob.
It's funny because I told Rob last week that you were coming on the show, and he told me, "Let me know what time you come on the show." So I can pop in here. So if I did text him again right now, if he does text me while we're still recording, I'm going to let him in for a couple minutes to hash it out, because that's what we do here on the Earnestly podcast. So you don't see a ceiling to this thing. You think this is it's going to continue? You think this is going to, all these moves that TKO is making, advertisements in the ring, which I can't stand for the record, seeing Prime in the middle of the fucking ring. I can't stand that shit. But it is what it is. You think this will continue, and you'll continue to find new streams of revenue no matter what, because wrestling is just that damn desirable, right?
I don't know if wrestling is that desirable, but WWE absolutely is that desirable. I'll take it a step further.
Explain that to people, because they're going to say, what are you talking about? Wrestling, WWE, same thing. Explain that.
Well, it's not the same thing. WWE is big spectacle. It's family friendly. They are clearly marketing to children, and they're giving enough adult entertainment that the adults have something to get wrapped up in as well. But they're marketing to kids for the most part. Most wrestling companies are not doing that, and certainly not on this scale. So, but
they can't.
I think that. Well, yeah, Well, I don't know if they can't. You can, if you actually put the effort in. It's just that you usually have somebody in charge who thinks they know better, and they don't respect the fact that when you market to kids, when you're family friendly, you'll make more money. It's just a fact. There's no rocket science there, But I'm gonna break some news for you.
News! Breaking news.
So keep in mind that, and I don't know how much people are paying attention to this stuff. You'll see people like Meltzer and what have you act like they're the experts. They know everything. I'm not the all-knowing expert on anything. I just talk to the ones who are. So we have Paramount, who just did the deal with SkyTel. So they're going to continue to be known as Paramount. And I think that the company's actually splitting into two separate companies because they got different divisions, streaming and movies and stuff like that. When I say movies, I'm talking going into movie theaters and all that. But the next move for that company, and they're already actively pursuing it, and they're pretty far along, quite frankly, is purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. Now, when that happens, not if, when that happens, AEW is not going to have a home. WWE already has NXT on CW, which is owned by Paramount.
Right.
And I have it on good authority. Paramount is looking to expand their relationship with WWE. They already just purchased UFC's airing rights in the United States. So they're going to be airing UFC content on Paramount Plus starting next year. So AEW's in trouble. AEW's in big trouble, and I don't know where they're going to go. They can't go to UFC. They can't go to Netflix. Huh? What's that?
Okay. Are they okay? So if let's say this play out, is it mainly because of the fact that WWE's on there and you can have two companies, wrestling companies on there, or because AEW's product is just not that good?
AEW's product is not good enough to justify it. So why would WWE do a deal with a company that's going to air another wrestling company that they have nothing to do with?
That's right.
And this other wrestling company has sworn themselves as rivals. All you're going to do is help them because people are going to be confused. You know what I mean? They just know that there's wrestling on Paramount, so they're going to flip to it, and that might actually help AEW, but that doesn't help WWE. So unless AEW is going to pay WWE to exist on the same network as them, it ain't going to work out. They're out. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. That's the way it's going to be.
That was random. I like that.
And I love it. And I love it because Tony Khan is the worst. He's the worst thing since that goofball who was snorting up all the nose candy and acting like a nut job. What company was that where he was doing all that? Was that UWF?
I remember.
Well, this is way back in the early 90s. Anyway,
okay.
Tony just he pissed it away. He had an opportunity, got talented people. When Bobby Lashley comes into your company and you don't put the belt on him immediately, you're a moron.
I agree 100% with that. I agree 100% with that, without question. Now he has corrected some of the things though that you were critical about years ago. Black champions, was division's gotten better. So he has course corrected some of the things that you had criticism of back in 2019, 20, and 21. Sure. But I think overall though, just like the booking in general is horrible. It caters to a small niche audience, adult. Some would say white males. I mean, we'll take that what you will. And they have a ceiling, and that was my fear for a long time, is that their ceiling was we look at the ratings, and I know the Nielsen ratings aren't the be all and all anymore, but you know, you knew that when they weren't cracking a million consistently anymore after 2019, that unless they changed their product altogether and made themselves a little more appealing to families and kids, they had no shot. They will never compete with WWE because of that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, look at me, for example. I'm a wrestling fan. Both my kids are wrestling fans also too. My wife, you know, likes it for the most part. But my kids are also young, 12 and 8 currently. Okay, so when I go to a WWE show, they're getting 4 tickets because it's family friendly. So they're getting money from a family of 4. An AEW show, which I have done already in the past, you're only getting 2 because I don't find AEW's product appropriate for my kids' age tier right now. So again, they're losing money because they decide they want to be stubborn. Again, they know what they want to do. I get that. I know they want to do all these crazy matches, and that's fine. But that does come with a risk. You can't sit here and say that, yes, I want to compete WWE, but then at the same time limit my audience. How does that work? That doesn't work financially at all. If you're competing with WWE, you have to put up a product that's actually similar to what they're doing. And they have not done that in the 6 years of existence. Tony Khan's lost the sauce. Tony Khan is lost in the sauce, brother. He's lost in the sauce.
Yeah. And you know, you talked about him going and starting to do the things that I had criticized him about. Everything he did was half-hearted. So he puts the belt on Swerve at a time where they had already killed, you know, their live events. They had already killed their TV ratings.
Yeah.
So Swerve was the worst champion in history. The company experienced its worst period with him as champion. And I don't blame Swerve for that. And you know, Swerve's no friend of mine. He can't stand me, and I don't really like him either. Nah, he can't stand me, and I can't stand him. I think he's a lowlife, his own damn self. I can tell you some things offline about some of his antics, and he knows that I know, which is part of the reason why he doesn't like me. But no, Swerve, you can go to hell. But you know, Tony Khan set him up to fail. There's no question about that. So he can go and he can say, well, hey, I tried it and it didn't work. And so this is borderline white supremacist actions here. You know what I mean? It's like, don't give me the ball when the company's at its worst point, and then ask me how come I didn't turn it around in a couple of months. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So it was completely unfair and ridiculous. Yeah, completely unfair and ridiculous. So again, though, I think AEW is in trouble in that regard. I can't wait to see what network is going to do business with them, if anyone will, because that product has not improved in the least bit, not even a little bit, you know. And you're starting to see these lowlives putting out negative stories about the Hurt Syndicate. I wonder why. Well, because MVP and Bobby in particular have been telling Tony Khan that he's screwing up, that he's not booking them properly.
Can I say I miss MVP and Lashley, the Hurt Business. I know they're doing the same thing over at AEW, and better that I'm glad they're doing something similar somewhere. But that look, I hope there's a point where hopefully MVP and Bobby can come back to WWE and recalibrate that whole Hurt Business thing, because that was phenomenal. That should have gotten a proper run after COVID.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
No, I agree. And I think that's, you know, thank you, Triple H, who in his own right, I mean, he's new Coke. I've been saying it all along.
Oh, yeah,
people are finally starting to realize that, because you're starting to notice this, right? This is the thing. I'm like 3 or 4 years ahead of everybody with this stuff, right? Now, suddenly people are starting to say, well, you know, Vince was kind of better at that. And, you know, Vince wouldn't have done that. And Vince was better. And it's like, look, the truth is the truth. Triple H is not Vince McMahon. He's not as good of a booker. He's not as good creatively. And he doesn't know how to pick a winner as effectively as Vince. He just doesn't. Because if he did, you would never see Johnny Gargano and Ciampa on TV ever. You would never see the Motor City Machine Guns on TV other than losing. You know what I mean? These goofballs. Why are they taking up time on my TV? I don't want to see them. Killer Cross, I don't want to see him. I'm sorry. There's nothing interesting about that guy other than his wife. I don't want to see him.
He's great on the stick. He's great on the stick, but once he gets into the ring, there's nothing there in the ring.
I don't want to see him. Go into acting and go do that thing. Stay out of wrestling. You were never good.
He's got to look. He's got to look. Have you watched did you watch WWE UnREAL?
Loved it.
Me too.
Loved it. Thought it was great.
I loved it. I finished last week. I thought the best part of that whole series was honestly, it was Chelsea Green's story. I thought Chelsea Green's story was amazing. I am a huge Chelsea Green fan. Huge.
Same. And we have great conversations and what have you. She's really a good person through and through, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, she has. She reckons of our era, Duke. Very old school. You know, she also what she does in the company for the women's side is that she reminds you why the mid card matters. Like, she doesn't need to be on top of the card. That's fine. She's in the mid card. She's U.S. champion once in a while, and she's comedy, and she does interesting things.
She's the Miz.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's a phenomenal comp. She's the Miz. She's Rick Rude. She's Rick Martel. You know what I mean? Those folks. You know, and you need those. Not everyone can be on top of the card, and that's okay.
Nope.
That's okay.
And she can lose every match and still be somebody that you can plug into the top of the card.
And still matter, right? She's Honky Tonk Man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I enjoyed that part. I mean, obviously the way they put together the Cena heel turn was interesting. It was nice seeing how the cake is made today. How they book these things, because look, kayfabe is dead, bro. Kayfabe is dead. We need to, and I know Rob and I on our show on False Count, we always have this thing where we try to, sometimes we get too lost in the sauce for the fact that we are older people and we look at booking as though we're booking for people like we're in the 90s or the 80s. And we have to kind of get out of that mindset now a little bit. We have to understand that this is 2025. Things a little bit different now. Things a little bit modern. And, seeing how they did things, on the show, it gave me a little more clarity as to what goes into decisions they make and whatnot. Now, do I wish there were some things from the old school they keep? Yeah. Like, I'll tell you what, the Chelsea Green part stuff is actually very old school, in my opinion. Very old school.
Yes.
100%. Having her paired up with two women, bodyguards, when they call that, or whatever, or advocates, that's very old school. I like that. But yeah, I was good to see a little bit of how the cake is made in today's WWE. By the way, watching the show too, I one thing that stood out to me more than anything else, I don't know if you can agree with this at all, but Bruce Pritchard seems out of place.
No, I don't think so.
Why do you say that?
I think that it's important to have that looming figure who understands the history and who can kind of be, that third manager behind Triple H, behind Michael Hayes, even though they kind of do slightly different things. But I think Bruce has a place there. It's just, unfortunately.
Let me be clear. I agree with you. I love Pritchard. And I think he should be there. And I just think that with the way the company's going and all this stuff, it feels like that he's like the old man on my lawn kind of thing. That's the vibe I got.
But you need that. Here's the thing, and forget about wrestling for a second. Let's just talk about workplaces in general.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity in the workplace is a philosophy that I live by, because I've been fortunate enough to be the young guy in the room. I've been fortunate enough to be the only guy in the room. I've been fortunate enough to be the only black guy in the room. I've seen what can happen when you have the right mix of a little bit of everything. So if you take that experience out of the room, what are you left with? You're left with a bunch of people who want Vikingo to be in the main event, breaking his neck out there like an idiot. You know what I mean? So you got to have somebody like Bruce Pritchard to say, yeah, that I don't like that. Don't do that, or wrap it up.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I totally agree with you. No, I like Pritchard. I mean, go ahead.
I will say this, because you talked about your favorite part of the show. My favorite part was that part with Chris Parks, where here you have this match going over, and it's way over time. Who was it? It was Punk and who who did Punk wrestle in the main event for the
Seth
first
Rollins.
Netflix show?
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah. So that match went completely overtime, which is ridiculous and embarrassing, quite frankly. And I would seriously consider firing every agent that had anything to do with that, or at least reprimanding them a lot heavier because they screwed up. The talent doesn't respect you if they're going to go overtime on something that's so important. This is your first time on Netflix, and you're going to defy the rules. It's ridiculous. So, and it wasn't even a championship match. It was a throwaway match, if we're going to be honest about this. So there was no reason for
I'm
that
not going
match
to say
to throw
throwaway.
It was a throwaway match.
I mean,
here we are today. Does that match matter today? Come on. You know what I mean? So Chris Parks, now you get to see him in action and see what happens under pressure. And you see Bruce Pritchard leaning on him. And then you see afterwards, Chris is like, I just want to make him happy. I'm sorry, Bruce, did I do okay? And Bruce is like, I went over. Everything went over. It's not what we wanted. But other than that, everything was fine. And I don't even think Chris Parks realized that Bruce dressed him down in that moment. So then Regal comes over and steps in. It's like telling Chris Parks, get away from Bruce. Like, it's okay. Calm down. Come over here. Well, I just want to make him happy. And Regal's like, no, I understand, but just come over here. Like, he's like, get the hell away from Bruce before Bruce decks you. It's like, dude, I love that moment because that was one of the more real moments I've ever seen in wrestling in general, because that's what happens. You know you screwed up. And then the guy who you report to, you know he's pissed off. You know what I mean? So it's like, but the cameras are there, so you got to kind of be a little diplomatic on Bruce's part. But you know that this is going to get sorted out at some point because you can't do that. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much so. But yeah, it's very real. Pritchard has always been known to be a bit of a hard
He's a jerk.
He's a jerk. But he owns it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The return of Brock Lesnar. Your thoughts? We surprised SummerSlam?
No, not at all. And I covered this on Devon and the Duke and on Duke Loves Wrestling. I'll just tell you folks out there this. If you got a problem with Brock Lesnar being back in the company, you're a lowlife, in my opinion. You're a 3-time loser. I don't want you anywhere on any jury, anywhere. You're a disgrace to this nation, the Constitution, the whole 9 yards.
Are they humanoid?
Here you have a guy, huh?
Are they humanoid too?
They might be worse than a humanoid. Here we have a guy in Brock Lesnar, right? First of all, he's socially awkward, Brock. Even though he's this big, hulking badass, in reality, he doesn't like to be around a lot of people. There's something about that. I think that there's a level of insecurity and unsureness about him, which is part of the reason why he just wants to be on his farm, minding his business with his animals, and that's it. You know what I mean? He doesn't there's a thing there. Anxiety, social anxiety, all that good stuff. So here you have this guy. In the lawsuit, Janelle Grant points out that Vince McMahon told her that Brock is negotiating a new deal, and Vince told him if he signs a deal, then he'll let Brock fool around with Janelle. This is what Grant has said in her lawsuit, mind you, folks.
Right, correct.
So Janelle starts sending Brock adult messages. She starts sexting him. She initiated that contact, right?
Ooh.
Now I'm just going by what she said in the lawsuit.
Okay.
She is the first person to send Brock a message. And she sent him a video of her urinating. So, you know what I mean? This is pretty extreme too. It's not even just that she sent some graphic stuff.
And dude, not only that, this is my point I made last week on the pod, is that whether you may think he didn't do anything, that doesn't matter. First off, he was never accused of anything. He hasn't been even investigating anything. He's not even the person of interest in the investigation.
That's my point.
So why are we even having a discussion about Brock Lesnar and why is he back here? He hasn't been charged anything, convicted anything, or alleged anything at this point now. And it's been 3 years.
He's not being sued, nothing. And
so what are we doing?
And if we're going to be honest, she sexually harassed him. And if we're going to be honest, She admits in a lawsuit that she made plans with him to fool around 3 separate occasions, and on all 3 occasions, he blew her off. So what does that tell you? That tells me that this socially awkward guy really wasn't interested in doing that with her. So if you keep pushing, if I'm Brock Lesnar, I'm going to sue her ass based on what she admitted in her own court documents. You know what I mean? But don't sit here and tell me that Brock Lesnar can't go out and make a living when your knucklehead goofball selves out there are still consuming WWE, the company she's suing. She's suing the company.
Right.
So you want a guy who's not being sued to be punished, but the company can still exist so you can get your entertainment? I'm telling you right now, folks, you really need to evaluate your life and what's going on with you, because there's something wrong with you, in my opinion. There's literally something wrong with you if you got a problem with Brock Lesnar going out and making a living for himself and his family. Leave that man alone.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're uncomfortably about things that you can't even prove happen or not happen is not going to supersede what is reality. I believe in investing in things. And look, we'll look into it. If there are things that look, you think WWE is going to bring them back if they even have a remote of a chance that they find out that some of the things that he was accused of may actually happen.
They don't have a leg to stand on. They're getting sued. They're getting sued. So
right.
It's like,
and guess what, guys? Guess what, guys? Guess what, kids? That's not happening. He's not getting sued either. So what are we doing? That being said, I mean, I don't know how. Look, I'm a big Brock guy, and I was watching some of this. I'm actually watching on WWE Vault. They're doing, those like the story ofs they do. But I love that shit. That helps me because the eras that I stopped watching wrestling. It covers a lot of like little stories in that era, so it fills me up with exactly how they got to this point of the story and that. I love that. So I'm watching the WWE Brock Lesnar's rookie year. It's almost 3 hours. Yeah. And God, dude, I don't think I've seen Vince McMahon fast track a star as quick as he did from the time they got into the company till him winning his first title than Brock Lesnar between April and March of 2002 to SummerSlam, beating The Rock at SummerSlam that year.
How could you not? I mean, he was so impressive. Yeah, he's so impressive. How could
insane? You not? Yeah. So I was just blown away. And I knew what happened, but I thought about it. The only other person that had even a fast track that way was Hogan in '83. But of course, that was a different situation. Like he's already groomed. He's ready.
And that was Hogan's second stint in the company.
Correct. Yeah, he was already groomed and ready to go. And so, Duke, I got a surprise for you.
Okay. What do you got?
Look who's here.
Oh God.
You can run, but you can't hide. How long have you been running with me, man?
What happened to all your hair, Rob? What are you trying to be like EJ and I? What's going on over there?
Look, it was out of control, man. So I had to cut it off.
You look halfway decent for a change. My goodness,
here we go. I mean, how old is that profile picture you got in the camera? Like 8 years old? You can't even show it like you are now?
Oh, see, here we 10. Go. I tell EJ all the time, you can't afford me, Rob. If you take some of that Hillary Clinton money and spread it over here, maybe I'd come on camera.
We're still doing that shit.
Yeah, we never gonna stop doing it. We're never gonna stop.
Really?
Okay.
That's right. Look, I'm a full on shill, and actually I moved on from Hillary to Gavin Newsom now. How about that?
Of course you have.
No, Rob, come on.
I'm just kidding.
Shiny new ball.
What a stick. Come on.
New ball.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Rob, we were just talking about
joke.
We were just talking about all the low life jelly black humanoid bastards who have a problem with Brock Lesnar being back in the company. And it's interesting because I seem to recall you having a problem with it too. So
no, he didn't. Did he have a problem with that?
Oh, he had a problem with it. So we're gonna get this straight.
No, him and I hashed it out on the show last week. And
here we go with the revisionist history.
I'm gonna be like your hero, Joe Biden. You be straight with me for once. All right. What is your issue with Brock Lesnar being back in the company?
First of all, wait a minute. Have you listened to anything I've said the past couple of weeks?
I've seen what you posted. I could pull up stuff you posted where you were like, "Oh, this is bad." Yeah,
Blue
see, look at
Sky
his
on
eyes. You
deck.
saw his eyes? You saw his eyes? I got the proof.
Okay. So I think it's bad optics.
See? There it is. I told you, EJ. See?
Oh, here we go.
Bad optics that an innocent man not accused of doing anything illegal, who was sexually harassed by a sex-crazed lady who was getting money out of her pimping old rich boss. You got a problem with Brock Lesnar making money and working his job when the company he works for is being sued by that lady. That's what you're saying?
No, that is not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Now
Uh-huh.
you're gonna let me talk, or you're gonna keep putting words in my mouth.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's classic.
I said it was bad optics. I did not say doesn't have any right to get a check. Look, I'll be perfectly fine with them paying him to stay home. I don't care. But I don't think it's particularly necessary right now. I don't see as of right now how he helps anything.
God.
And I don't see, I think it's bad optics. I mean,
What optics? What optics are you talking about? What optics?
well, okay, so I just listened to you say a bunch of stuff that most people, that the general public, or at least people who have been halfway following this stuff, have either don't know or have ignored or whatever. Okay, so most of the people I talk to, what they know about the whole lawsuit thing is what they know, and whether it's accurate or not, what they know or what they feel they know is that Vince, offered her up, and that Brock contacted her a few times, and that for that didn't end up not meeting up, right? So that's if you ask people who, man on the street or whatever, who's heard anything about this whole lawsuit, that's what they've heard, whether it's accurate or not. So from those people's perspective, you're bringing back a guy who propositioned a woman who they believe was being trafficked by the boss. Okay. Again, now whatever factual refutations you have of that version of things, feel free to, I've been listening to you say some of them, but that's the story that people know and that people believe. Okay. Now, based on that, yes, it is bad optics. Okay. Because
Based on the ignorance of some of these
sure,
phantom people, right?
sure.
Who cares about what lies that they want to hold on to when you
But
have the
that's-
truth?
We can say that, but look,
that's part of my problem, Rob. The only one to say that is that if we play that optics card, then everybody shouldn't be the company, because everybody has bad optics to some degree, some worse than others, obviously.
well, yeah,
But
yes.
at the end of the day, this is why it's disturbing to be very careful of this shit too. Also, I'm about fact-based shit. At the end of the day, if he didn't do anything wrong, he should be able to make money for his family.
That's it.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but
right.
But again, look, we're not talking politics here, but we know
You can want to,
but from our discussions about that, we know that that people believe certain versions of what's actually going on,
right?
and that those versions of what they believe are not necessarily factually correct, but they believe that version, and then they go to the voting booth, based on that version. And there are people who are making their decisions to whether or not to continue watching WWE programming based on the version of events that they believe, or the version of events that they think are the reality in regards to Brock. So to that end, yes, it is bad. I mean, yes, there are bad optics, and the fact that bringing him back put the lawsuit back in the news. But I haven't looked. Duke, this is the first time I've heard anyone describe any of those events the way that you did. Okay.
I can only go by what's in the court documents. I'm not making
people don't
any
read
of
the
this up.
Look, I've been arguing with people for a couple of months now in the Facebook group I'm in about Tory Lanez shooting Megan Thee Stallion, and those people don't read the court documents either, and they insist to this day that Tory Lanez is innocent. Okay, and they didn't read not a single court document. Okay, and when you tell them to read the court documents, they hem and haw. Okay, so if you're expecting people to have read the court documents, come on now.
Well, at least Duke did it, allegedly.
Okay, well, yes, he did, and yes, so that is to your credit that you actually read the court documents. But we're operating in a world of perception, and based on the perceptions out there, then yeah,
No, I get what you're saying, Rob. But at the end of the day, too, also, this came out, what, 3 years ago? The lawsuit 3 years ago? It's been 3 years, and nothing has escalated on the Brock angle of it.
No, at all.
Nothing.
She didn't want to name him. She did not even want to name him.
Well, look, I mean, I remember a few years ago on the Mindless Wrestling podcast, we talked about Austin Theory and the fact that the degree of the accusations against him were basically some stuff that somebody wrote on a notes app.
What did he do?
A fan who was a teenager at the time alleged that he contacted them. Now they didn't say he actually solicited them for any like sexual acts or anything, but just that he contacted them and they're underage, and it didn't really go anywhere. But there were some people, mad when they brought Austin Theory back to the main roster, and they were citing that as their reason for being mad. And we talked about it back then, and we basically agreed that you can't just throw somebody out because somebody went on a notes app and threw out an accusation and posted it on social media.
And same applies here with Brock Lesnar.
The difference here is that Austin Theory was actually directly accused of being inappropriate. We have yet to see that happen to Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Yes. I'm just saying that we're operating in a world of perception over reality. And I don't think them bringing Brock Lesnar back, they're not standing up for the truth here. Okay. They figured that the reward is worth whatever risk they were taking. They may not even see any risk because, like you said, he wasn't named or accused of anything, and I doubt they would have brought him back.
So I mean,
if there's any chance of him getting hauled into a courtroom, they probably wouldn't. They would not have brought him back. But I don't think they're bringing him back as part of some high moral standing for the truth or anything. Okay, because look, there's Odyssey Jones who was who was accused, and it turns out that there wasn't any really standing behind the accusation that was made against him. He was fired, and he ain't coming back. So it's situational ethics as always.
No, and I get that, but at the same time, it's like he has been accused of anything, convicted, or even charged. To me, I think this is a problem with people in society today. We go through all these mental gymnastics about all this shit when we just keep it simple. Okay, yep. Like if we're gonna go that route, then I can accuse Seth Rollins of saying something even though it never happened because I wanted to, and and I don't care whether it happened or not, but. There you go. He should be off TV because I said I think he's racist. And if we're gonna do that, play that game now, then you know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna sit in the same and play the moral police here, we better make sure that if there are things being accused of, there's some validity to the accusations.
Well, especially when she pursued Brock. I mean, now she says she did it because Vince McMahon coerced her into doing so. That's your beef with Vince. But there's no evidence that Brock ever knew that this arrangement existed. And based on the way that Brock conducted himself, it's very clear that he was not interested. So It is what it is. She sexually harassed him.
Right. If this will lead to Brock doing some stuff, then you respond accordingly. But right now, there has not been any evidence in 3 years, by the way, for the record. Nothing's escalated. Everything's still the same. So what are we talking about here? This is why I hate this this is the whole cancel culture bullshit. Now we keep talking about. This is what we're saying. Let's cancel Brock because we believe or we think in our brains that I don't know what's fact or not, but you know what? I don't want him on TV because I think he did something like that. That's not how the world works. I'm sorry. And he
Well,
folks need to stop doing this
that
shit.
was, I mean, that was one of the conclusions we ultimately came to, that if
Right.
that if you want them to throw Austin Theory out over that, then what happens when somebody goes on the notes app and accuses somebody you like of something with no basis?
Right. If there's evidence, again, if there's evidence, then we'll deal with it accordingly. This is also another reason why I hate to say this, a guy like Trump has gained a lot of steam in the last 10 years because people are sick and tired of being told how to think. Whether right or wrong. Now, obviously,
I don't know about using a what was it, 32-time convicted felon and convicted rapist.
No, I'm not saying him. Though. I'm saying the no, right. But I'm not saying. I'm saying the overall specter. Why people discuss it with people, because a lot of this virtue signaling comes from a lot of people. I hate to say it, from the left. It does. Let's be real about that.
But hold on. Let's make sure we're clear when we say that, because I don't necessarily believe that these folks are left. I think that they masquerade as being left. I think that the majority of these folks, when you start peeling back the layers, are some of the most racist, bigoted pieces of trash going today. You know what I mean? If you really start peeling back the layers, you realize they don't have the stomach for really.
So you're saying
put a hashtag,
co-opting the movement or something?
Absolutely. They'll hashtag everything. Black Lives Matter, this and that, but yet they'll sit there and try to cancel us. So what do you do with that? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. They'll scream mental health challenges, but yet they'll sit there and harass and jump in your DMs and try to cuss you out and get a whole mob after you online to try to take your pages down. So these are not serious people. These are goofballs.
And this is also why I always say I keep it the policy at the end of the day, because like you guys, again, all the mental gymnastics about this and that. Well, I'm going to vote for this guy because you guys are not nice to me. A lot of these people who support Trump 2024 left the Democratic Party or whatever it may be because they didn't feel they fit in. So they feel they fit in with the right. So therefore they vote that way, even though every allegedly every political position they have on policy is not even remotely on the right, which makes no fucking sense. But I get it. People want to fit in. Like Tulsi Gabbard, for example. Tulsi Gabbard was as left as they come policy-wise 5-6 years ago. Okay? All of a sudden, you embracing fucking everything Trump is saying? Because it's the antithesis of everything you said 6 years ago that you're now part of now his administration.
Well,
it makes no fucking sense.
She got called out for being a Putin student, and she didn't like that.
No, tell the truth. When the Democrat Party sandbagged Bernie.
How did they sandbag Bernie about people voting against him? Oh no,
that's not what happened. Bernie Sanders took the damn DNC to court. It's all public record. Let's not pretend now. We know what happened there. That's when Tulsi flipped.
Dude.
I'm not a fan of the way she's conducted herself, but I'm gonna tell the truth. She left the party because of that. No. When your girl Hillary, who's now sticking up for Trump, talking about she loves his foreign policy, when your girl Hillary,
stop it,
used her little tricks, her bag of tricks with Donna Brazile and the rest of these goofballs.
People to vote for her. Oh
no, that's not. Come on, Rob, you got to tell the truth, man. It's all documented.
I got a question for Duke. I got a question for you, Duke. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Who got the most votes in the 2008 Democratic primary?
Brother, what did they do in order to make that happen?
If
you're gonna sit there and talk about a stolen primary, it's a stolen primary.
I said 2008. I said 2008. Who got the most votes in the 2008 Democratic primary?
I have no idea. Who got the most votes?
It was Hillary Clinton. Who got the nomination in the 2008 Democratic primary?
Who got the nomination?
Obama.
Okay. If Hillary was that diabolical and that nefarious and that and everything, then there's no way she would have gotten the most votes in the primary in 2008 and not gotten the nomination.
Was Obama running in 16?
No.
I said, what the hell are you talking about? No, because you're talking about No, you're talking about diabolical DNC and all this stuff.
You're acting as if because they screwed her one time, that
Oh,
means
here
that
we
that
go.
they can't
Here
help her
we
screw
go.
somebody else in the
Here
future.
we
That's
go.
silly. That's how we know you don't know anything about
Dude, let me
politics.
guess. Between 2008 and 2016, she bought them all off, right?
It ain't about buying them all off. She's down with the program. Bernie wasn't. Bernie's trying to burn it all down and rebuild it.
You really
status
believe?
quo.
Rob, hold on,
Bernie
Rob. Do you really believe that Hillary
he
won
goes to all the
16th
same
primary fair and
fundraisers.
square?
He goes to all the same fundraisers. He takes all the same. Okay, he goes to all the same fundraisers.
Right, but is Donnie so is Donna Brazile lying?
I don't know. I don't care what you said. Hillary got more votes.
No, Donna Brazile,
No.
who was the head of the Democratic Committee in 2016, who also was a Hillary supporter, said that Bernie
head of the DNC in 2016.
She was one of the heads of the DNC. She's definitely one of the most influential people in the DNC. Said that basically Hillary kneecapped Bernie. And by the way, Donna Brazile was also Hillary supporter also.
Donna helped make it happen.
Yes,
it's all documented.
She made this on Bill Maher in 2017, 2018.
I'm telling you, I don't care.
And the courts said, yes, this is what happened, but because of the way that the DNC rules are written, they actually have a legal right to do what they did.
Well,
but it did happen.
Nothing wrong. Sorry.
But it did happen, right?
Okay, but then you said no. Okay, they were legally allowed to do it. So,
but let's not ignore the fact that it happened, Rob. Again, I'm the one who's telling the truth. You're the one who's doing this.
A lot of the look, I have no problem with Democrats on the record. I voted Democrat in the last 6 elections. I'll continue to do so as long as the policies are what I prefer. However, I have a large problem with the Democratic apparatus and how they operate as a company, as a whatever you want to call that.
And this is idiotic. I'm sorry. This is just dumb. Okay.
Like Rob Jean is Democrat, love him.
No.
Gavin Newsom and all those fucking cronies in the Democratic Party, can't stand them.
Well, I don't like Newsom either. But right now he's the only one.
Right now he's what? What is he? What is he? He's what?
Well, you like him? He's scummy as fuck, bro. That's like a snake's oil salesman.
Yeah. Well, no, he is. He is. He absolutely is. But no, listen. Okay, as far as the primary, okay, unless the DNC changed the votes, and they didn't change votes. Bro, they didn't close down polling places.
They literally contacted people and told them Bernie dropped out of the race when he did not. It is a fact. It went to court. It was admitted in court. I don't know what you're talking about. They literally fixed the race. What's wrong with you?
No, fixing the race means no. It's not fixing the race if you don't.
That's exactly what it is. What do you mean?
No, they didn't. Okay, no. You have to change votes. You have to burn people's ballots or something.
Isn't that how you change votes? When you tell people, hey, even though he's going to be on it, don't vote for him because he's out.
Okay, I'm sorry. If somebody calls you, some random stranger calls you on the phone and tells you not to vote for somebody because they dropped out, and you listen to them, that's on you.
Rob, random strangers invite you to donate money to the Democrat Party, and you run straight up.
No, I do not.
With your piggy bank to get it done.
I do not. I do not. I'll research it.
Pull up the campaign finance reports. Don't play with me. All right, I can listen. You're talking to me here. You ain't talking to one of these other people.
Listen, man. Okay, no. When I give money, when I donate,
Duke, why are you the way you are, man? Why?
Excuse me. Okay. When I donate money, I donate directly to the candidate, or I donate to Act Blue. Okay, I don't donate money to random spam text coming every day. Okay.
Yeah. Well, those same people you donated to are the same people who would tell people Bernie dropped out of the race when he didn't, and that was just one of the things that they did.
Well, you know
they shared mailing lists with Hillary that they didn't share with Bernie. They did a whole. That's why he sued them. What's wrong with you?
I don't care. Look. Hey, I'm for going back to the old days of having the 12 guys in the room decide who the nominee was. Okay,
12 guys. Yep. See, sexist. See that? I'm telling you.
Or 12 people. Okay, you can change. Okay, 12 people. It doesn't have to be guys, and it shouldn't be 12 guys anymore. It should be 12 people. Okay, it should be a diverse group of people. I'm perfectly fine going back to the days of having 12 people in the smoke-filled room say this is who it's going to be. All right.
You know what, Rob? You and I need to run against each other. All right, and we're going to find out what's up here. All right.
Oh,
that's
yes.
it. We need to run against each other.
The funny thing is, all three of us are pretty much pretty much aligned politically.
Absolutely.
Center left guys. We just have disagreements about the apparatus. Like I'm a center left guy. People accuse me of being MAGA for the record. I don't know why, because I haven't voted for Trump in any of these elections. Although I do platform conservatives on my show, But all for the most part, three of us are pretty aligned politically for the most part. We just have different criticisms with the way the party operates. That's all.
No, I'm going to tell you what it is. Rob represents the old school, do as I say, not as I do. Don't talk bad in front of people about us and all this other stuff. And I represent just tell the truth. And even if it's hypocrisy, let's be honest about our hypocrisy so there's no confusion about what's happening here. Right. And that's where he and I clash. He doesn't want to admit the truth. He wants to run away from it. I'm all about it.
Oh boy. That's funny.
I gotta roll though, fellas. So give it to me. Give it to me straight.
Okay, real quick before we get out of here. Okay, a couple things out of here. Hang on, Rob. You're here. Hogan's passed away. Hulk Hogan. We discussed him on the show many times. Duke, Hogan's legacy, the whole nine. What were your thoughts on hearing the news of his passing?
I mean, look, man, we went viral, because Devon Dudley was brave enough to point out that although he'll never forget what Hogan did, being a self-admitted racist and proving it on more than one occasion, at the end of the day, Hogan went to him personally and apologized. And more importantly, when Hogan could have ignored it and minded his own business, Hogan stood up for Devon and helped him secure a new contract in TNA when he really needed it, he and his family. So Devon has his reasons for saying, hey, man, I will never forget what he did wrong, but he did a lot of things right, so I forgive him. And I'm kind of on the same boat here. I'll never forget what he did. It's disgraceful. But the man is dead. So who am I to keep kicking him while he's dead? It's done. It's over. So condolences to his family and his loved ones. Condolences to all of we fans who were Hulkamaniacs. That's really it. And look, man, we went viral. Yeah. Everyone covered it. Mostly positive responses.
Great episode.
Some
great
negative.
Episode. Thank you. But there was some people talking. How dare you? And you shouldn't mourn him and this and that. And listen, you're a rotten bastard on the inside if you have a problem with somebody mourning the passing of anyone. It's like you're so rotten inside that you can't just say condolences. You want to keep stomping on somebody even when they're like that. There's something wrong with that, bro. There's something completely wrong with that. And I got a problem with people like that. They're rotten. So, that's my take on that. Yeah, and the thing is, it's easy to separate the two. Like we've discussed Hogan in the show many times over. Us three we have on the show together. That look, we can separate the two. Like, Hulk Hogan is, in my opinion, the greatest superstar in the history of professional wrestling. Okay, that is a fact. Okay, also he was a pretty bad guy. There's nothing wrong with that. He was a racist, and the reason he's a racist is because he told us so.
He told us.
Because himself. Unlike Brock Lesnar, trying to figure out the facts, Hulk Hogan told us he's racist. So you told me that. So I'm not going to get mad. But again, it is still weird to see Hogan not here anymore. It's really weird. It's sad how things played out because he should be celebrated. And, in some ways I still do. I celebrate the character Hulk Hogan and his contributions to the business because we're not doing this podcast without Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's the reason why this industry got to where it's at. So anytime I see these top 10 lists and top 50 lists all the time, and Hogan's number 10, number 12, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're not writing about wrestling about Hulk Hogan, so shut up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing here? So, like I said, man, it's a sad. And then the whole blowback too, also with his kids, and maybe his daughter Brooke, and she thinks there's some conspiracy behind this, and it's just sad, man. It's really sad how broken that family is ultimately. It really is.
Yeah, but that's normal. When a loved one passes away, there's always this stuff happening. You know what I mean? Listen, I've gone through it. I've seen it personally. People have a hard time believing the person died of natural causes, and they want to have their conspiracies, and that's okay. And then there's the family infighting and stuff like that. Kudos to Brooke for saying, I don't want any of his estate. So
Yeah.
leave me out of that. She don't want to
Yep.
be fussing and fighting with people because that's all it's going to be. But it's normal, unfortunately.
Right.
That stuff is normal.
Real quick before we get out of here, real quick grade, Duke. John Cena's heel run just ended, and as fast as started. B plus.
Yeah.
B plus. Why?
B plus. Some of the best promos that I've ever heard anyone cut were the heel Cena promos. Definitely. They were fantastic. I loved the actual wrestling because he changed his whole wrestling style. You know, what he was doing in the ring was not what we expected to see. So I thought that was fantastic as well. The only reason why it's not an A plus is because it just wasn't booked properly, in my opinion. I think that they could have gotten a lot more out of it if they would have given him the right opponents the right way. So outside of that, though, I mean, as far as what Cena did and as far as the actual in-ring action, yeah, man, that's a B plus all the way.
Yeah, I think Rob and I last week on False Count said we gave him a C, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we thought the first month, the turn itself was fantastic. The turn itself and that first month into Mania, and I'll even give you that first month going to Backlash because Randy Orton was really good, and then it kind of fell. It just kind of fell slowly. And the worst part, that's booking. It's not just Cena's fault. It's booking.
That's booking.
But
that's booking.
The thing is too also like he turned babyface again before SummerSlam. Just out of nowhere. There was no build to that.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah. I think that was a forced move, and it might have been Cena himself that was just like, look, this shit ain't working. I'm not doing it anymore. I think it was as simple as that. It was so dramatic and so out of nowhere that it's got to be somebody forced that to happen. You know, the metrics weren't hitting the way they needed to, in my opinion.
Right. I agree with you on that one. I definitely agree with you on that one. All right, Duke, plug away.
Duke Loves Wrestling on Facebook, on Twitter, DukeLovesWrestling@gmail.com. As always, let me know what you think. Send in your questions, especially for D1 and the Duke. We got a lot of exciting guests coming up on the Duke Loves Wrestling main show. More Hall of Famers, more stars from different sports, including the NBA, NFL, MLB. I even got some boxing champions. Got some champions who are going to be coming up on the show. And early next year, we got some MMA stuff that's really going to make your head spin. I got some legends coming on and you know, some fun stuff. So as always, folks, we appreciate you. I couldn't have gotten here without you. Top 5% in the world of all listened to podcasts. Doesn't happen without collaborating with people like my man EJ here on Earnestly Speaking. It doesn't happen without Rob the Genius, who, despite all of his freshness over the past couple of years, you know, Rob has been responsible for maintaining and fostering a healthy fan base here for everything that I do. So I thank you both for all of your contributions, and I thank everybody listening.
Yeah, man.
Like, as much crap as I give you, man. You know, all love, brother. Seriously.
We all we got.
Yeah, tell Mom said hi. All right. Good job, brother.